Hello YouTube and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, which you might be because this is not a typical video for me, then I am Vanessa and I actually am a second grade teacher and I teach in Southern California, and I'm a soon-to-be mother, so I'm super excited. So this is going to be my first trimester recap, just kind of talking all about my first trimester. I'm currently out of breath because I just sat down, so that's one thing you can expect for the first trimester. Probably your whole pregnancy actually is like I'm always out of breath. So anyway, I'm very much out of breath right now, but I'm going to be talking all about my first trimester, some of the things I experienced, some of the symptoms and the feelings that I had, and just kind of talk you guys through it. So I'm currently 14 weeks and like 3-4 days. Today's Friday? Yeah, today's Friday, January 3rd, and I'm due June 30th. Now it's actually officially 2020, which means I'm actually due like this year, which is crazy. Okay, so I filmed this video yesterday and I just realized I don't have my earrings in, but we'll just hide my ears. I filmed this video yesterday and I thought I could do it without like a plan, and apparently I could not, because then all day yesterday I kept thinking about everything that I forgot to mention, and it was already like a super long video and then there were so many things I didn't mention. So I made myself a list this time of the things that I wanted to make sure to cover. I'm a super rambly person, so I could just sit here and talk for days. Skylar, my husband, he is always like, you could literally talk to like a wall for like 30 minutes and somehow carry a conversation with it. I just can talk and talk and talk, and yeah, that's probably why I'm a teacher, because I love to talk. So anyway, I'll kind of start out with, I don't have things like in any specific order, and I don't have things in order of like my weeks. Like I wasn't writing things down as I went, which maybe I should have, but at the same time, it's whatever. I just kind of figured I would sort of walk you through. I didn't have like major milestone things for the most part, like, oh, right at 8 weeks, like this happened or anything like that. The only one is my nausea, and we'll start there. So my first trimester basically can be summed up in the word of nausea. I never actually threw up, which I kind of didn't think that I would, because I'm not one to throw up like super easily, and my mom never threw up when she was pregnant with either me or my brother. She's kind of one of those people who like loved being pregnant. So I had really high expectations for being pregnant, because I figured a lot of times with pregnancy, it's a lot of like genetics and, you know, whatever your mom kind of dealt with or things that happened to your mother when she was pregnant. A lot of times will be like kind of similar experiences that you'll have. So I didn't think that I would ever get sick. There was moments where like I kind of just wish I could have gotten sick, because I feel like it would have made me feel better. But yeah, I never got sick, with the exception of twice in the last week. I've gagged myself so hard that I like spit up basically. I didn't like full blown throw up. I just gagged so hard that I dry heaved and like I threw up. And that was within like week 13 and week 14. And it was because I was sick, and so I had a lot of like just congestion, which is really gross, but that was the only reason why. It wasn't actually like throwing up from morning sickness or anything, but I basically felt nauseous all day long, every day. It never went away. Nothing I could do could make it go away. I watched a lot of videos of people, I watched a lot of these kind of videos, and people would, you know, give their recommendations of things that kind of helped them to ease it. And I feel like ease is like the best word to explain or describe like the things that you can do, because you're never going to find something that like gets rid of it. But you can find things that sort of ease it. And one thing that actually really helped, which I just realized I never even mentioned in yesterday's video, which is like the one thing that helped me like the most, are my C-bands. I bought some C-bands off of Amazon, and they're acupressure, not acupuncture, acupressure bracelets, and they have this like little ball thing in it. My dog, hi boy. It pushes on the pressure points on your wrist. You have to put it like in between your two like bones right there. And you have to put it on both hands. They're not very cute. They look like sweatbands. Luckily for me, it's been winter, so I've had long sleeves on every day. But if it had been summertime, I would have just had like my sweatbands on all day. But I do feel like those helped, and it could have been, it honestly probably was completely placebo effect. Like, I just thought it made me feel better, but I swear to you, it made me feel better. Like I said, nothing ever made it go away, but it definitely eased my nauseousness a little bit. And I could tell, like, I kept them on 24/7. The only time I took them off was to take a shower. I would sleep in them. I would just have them on all the time. And it wasn't until like a week ago or so that I even took them off. There was a couple times where I thought I was feeling better maybe, and then I would try to take them off, and then I would start feeling sick again, and I was like, nope, gotta put them back on. So I'm just now finally like feeling more like myself and feeling like not so nauseous. I feel a little bit not even queasy. I just feel like a little off in the mornings lately. But it goes away around 10, and then I feel pretty normal the rest of the day. I haven't like had any nauseousness anymore. So, and that's just been in the past, probably like the past week and a half, I would say. Probably like more like the last week. So that's the biggest thing for me, was just the nausea and just feeling sick all the time. And then going along with my nausea was smells. And actually I should say my nausea didn't hit until, oh my gosh, that was so long ago though. It hit, I turn a new week every Tuesday, and it hit the Sunday before I turned 6 weeks. I just woke up that day, and so I was like 5 weeks, almost 6. I woke up that Sunday and I was just like, oh gosh, this is not good. And that Friday before, I had like a little spell of nauseousness, like in the afternoon. But I think I had just gotten too hungry. But yeah, so another thing is just, I would always have to make sure that I had food in my stomach, because you get that like hunger nausea. And that's like just as bad as being nauseous. When you get that hungry feeling, and like I'm starting to get hungry right now, and I'm thinking about it. But, that like hunger nausea is so real. It makes you feel so nauseous to be hungry. And so I always would have snacks with me. As a teacher, like I have certain breaks in my day where I'm eating. However, like since I've been pregnant, I've had to snack like all throughout the day. Like I just have a bag of almonds on my desk, and I'll like pop a couple almonds in my mouth every time I go over to my computer. And my kids know like that it's okay that I'm eating in class or whatever. So, and then, so like I said, going along with that is the smells. Smells for me have been horrendous. Oh my gosh, like I can't even explain to you how bad smells are. And that was something that I've heard other people talk about, like before I was ever pregnant or anything like that. Like I had friends who would be like, oh, I couldn't stand the smell of like the dishwash soap, and I'd always be like, that's so silly. Like it's, you know, it smells good. No, I get it now. Like it's awful. Everything that smells good normally smells so bad. Bad smells I know smell bad. And those ones actually don't even bother me almost as much as like good smells. Things that like I know smell good. Like I know deep down inside it smells good, but like it just smells so bad right now that I can't deal with it. So I've had to buy like everything unscented. I can't use any like perfume. I can't, like I just can't. I keep the air purifier in the kitchen at all times so that it kind of like gets the smells out, because I haven't really been able to cook because the smells drive me crazy. And then if the smells are like in the house, like, oh gosh, oh my gosh, it's so bad. But yeah, so that's been really, really rough. And my mother-in-law and my mom both say that smells, like sensitivity to smells, like never goes away, like for the rest of your life. And both of them are very sensitive to smells, so I like believe them, and I'm like, I can't deal with it. So yeah, smells have been awful. Another thing going along with my nauseousness, smells, has been just a lot of food aversions. And they say you'll have a lot of food aversions, which is basically when you just don't want certain things. And I don't even know if I'd call mine food aversions, because it wasn't like certain foods. It would just be like I would almost just have to sit there and like figure out what did sound good. Like everything sounds bad except for I can finally figure out like one thing that sounds good. I have like our pantry is like overflowing with food because I would go to the store and I would buy something and then I would think it sounded really good. And then I'd eat it and it did taste like amazing. Like I had bought like Reese's Puffs cereal and I didn't eat it with milk or anything. I just ate it like dry because I don't like milk. And it was so good. But then like the next day I couldn't do it again. And like ever since then I can't do it. And so our pantry is just full of foods that like I can't eat. And I've kept everything, like haven't gotten rid of anything because I've been like, oh, when I'm feeling better, like I'll want it again. But even now that I'm feeling better, like I still don't want any of those foods. So I just need to kind of like clean out the pantry and clean out the refrigerator and just get rid of it because looking at a lot of it makes me nauseous, like to this day, because it reminds me of being nauseous. Like there's certain things that just remind me of feeling nauseous that I don't want to do or I don't want to think about because it makes me feel nauseous again. Like I'm currently working on my master's and I go to class one night a week, and we always my friend and I have been getting food before class to take to class. And so we always pick out like a fast food place to go to or like a quick food place, whatever. And because we go straight from work. But every time after I was eating, I was feeling really nauseous. And then the fact that I had to sit there for like 3 hours and just like feel my nauseousness like in class, the thought, because I've had 2 weeks off because it's been Christmas, the thought of going back to school next week to my master's class, that one night a week, makes me nauseous. Just thinking about going, like I'm dreading it so bad. And I'm almost done. I have 1 class left, so I have to go 4 more times. But oh my gosh, just like the thought of going, I'm dreading because I know I'm just gonna feel sick. Or I probably won't even feel sick now, but just the thought of going makes me feel sick. So anyway, so yeah, I haven't had any like super specific food aversions. Like I know some people say like they can't handle meat or things like that. And I haven't had anything like that. It's more just been like everything sounds bad and I have to find something that sounds good. So going along with that, cravings that I've had, again, I haven't had any really specific cravings. It's kind of the same thing. Like I've just craved like certain types of food. I've craved so many sweets. I like want all the dessert, and normally I am not a sweets person at all. I would never ever want dessert really. I don't know, I'm much more of like a salty savory kind of person. Like I would take a bag of chips over a cookie like any day of the week, but except for now that I'm pregnant. Like I want froyo all the time. There's like this shaved ice place. It's called Bahama Bucks. And I went there for the first time, and normally I would never eat something like that. Like I just wouldn't. I'm just not interested in stuff like that. Oh my gosh. I went there and I was like, Skylar, you have to try this. And he tried it and he was like, wow, that's really sweet. And I was like, no, it's so good. So things like that. And then like orange juice has been really good. Pickles, which I normally like pickles, so that's not like super new, but like they just taste really good. Like super just cold, like fresh things sound really, really good. I love fruits, like fresh fruit, just like anything that's like really cold and sweet, and yeah, I don't know. So that's what I've been liking. Another thing that I've been dealing with, and this has been, I would say, I don't think that I was dealing with this in the beginning. And if I was, I may have just been ignoring it. But it's something that I've been dealing with recently. It's slowly kind of going away. Like it still happens sometimes. But for a while there, it was like for like a week long, maybe. It was like really bad. Anytime I would eat, the second I was done eating, I would just have this horrible taste in my mouth. And I looked it up online, and they talk a lot about like a metallic taste, and I wouldn't describe it as a metallic taste. Like I kept thinking I kept trying to describe like what it was and think like, is it a metallic taste? And I really don't feel like that's what it was. It was just like a bad taste. And like I said, I don't know, I could have been having it the whole time and it was just something that I ignored and I just felt nauseous. So it was just like double whammy and I didn't even like think about it. But now that I've been like feeling better, like for a couple days there, I was dreading eating food because I knew the second I was done eating, then my mouth was just gonna taste so bad. And then like that taste would almost make me feel nauseous because it just had this like really bad taste. So I've started chewing gum, which I should have started chewing gum a really long time ago and just found, because there's so many different flavors of gum that like once you got tired of one flavor, because you'll get tired of things really quickly, then I could have just switched to a different flavor. But my thing has been spearmint gum, which normally I like spearmint, but I'm not like, I wouldn't really normally pick it. I'm more of just kind of like a peppermint kind of person. And I actually don't even really chew gum in my normal life. But lately, the second I'm done eating, I have to have like a piece of gum in my mouth and then it just completely gets it to go away. So gum has been like my best friend lately, not like mints or anything. Like I just want like a piece of gum and I chew it until like it has no more flavor. And like I've chewed and chewed and chewed and then I'll like spit it out and my mouth just feels so much better. So one recommendation for you guys if you're pregnant is to like find a pack of gum that you would like. Like I would go through a pack of gum in like, or I do go through a pack of gum in like 2 days because I just chew gum like all the time and it helps so much. So yeah. Another thing that, trying to figure out what else is on my list. Bloating was super, super bad during my first trimester. I felt like every time I would go to the doctor, I would be nervous because I'm like, I've gained like 10 pounds already and the doctor's going to say something to me. And I didn't gain that much, but I just felt so incredibly like, bleh. And like I took a picture, the first bump picture I took was at 8 or 9 weeks, like in between 8 and 9, I think. And I look more pregnant in that picture than I did in like my 12-week picture. Just because I was so bloated and like Skylar kept being like, oh, it's like a little baby bump. And I was like, no, it's bloat. Like I'm telling you, it's 100% bloat. Like the baby is like this big. It's just bloat. And now I can tell that it's not bloat anymore because it doesn't feel bloated anymore. And I can tell because I can't suck in my stomach really anymore. Like if I suck it in, it just like doesn't move. It just kind of stays like where it's at. And it's getting a lot more rounded. Anyone in like the outside world looking at me wouldn't think that I was pregnant probably. They just thought that I have like a pudgy stomach or something. But people like close to me can definitely tell that my stomach's a lot more rounded now. Especially by like the end of the day. It'll be a lot more rounded depending on what I've eaten that day. But yeah, so a lot of bloat in that first trimester. So going back to appointments, doctor's appointments, I've had 3 or 4. So I had my first appointment at 8 weeks. Actually, okay, I had a phone appointment at like right when I first found out, and they basically just walked you through everything and then like gave you some reminders and stuff before you actually had your appointment to make sure you're drinking water, make sure you're taking a prenatal, like all that kind of stuff. So that was just like a phone appointment. It was a quick one, kind of get my information, get like dates and stuff like that. And then I didn't have my first appointment until 8 weeks. I think it was on a Monday, so it was like the day before I turned 8 weeks. And we got to get an ultrasound done, and we got to hear the heartbeat for the first time. The heart was beating like crazy fast. I think it was like 189 or something. And so we got to see the baby. Everything was like good. And then we went back a couple weeks later, and then that was when I had my physical. And I just talked with she's not a doctor, she's a nurse practitioner. I liked the OBGYN I met. I was just kind of randomly assigned one. I don't think I like picked or anything. I don't think so. I think it just randomly assigned me one. And I like the doctor's office that I was going to. And I like her. I didn't have any problems with her, so probably just going to keep her. I have no reason not to. And then her nurse practitioner, I actually really, really like the nurse practitioner, probably a lot more than the OBGYN, but I have a feeling I'll probably see the nurse practitioner a lot more because she said that they work together. And so I'll be dealing with either that OBGYN or that nurse practitioner. And she's younger and she's, I don't know, they're actually both pretty young. They're probably like the same age actually, now that I think about it. But she was just like fun and like easy to be around. And I like people who kind of make me feel comfortable in a doctor's office. And she definitely did that. Not that the other lady didn't. I didn't, like I said, I didn't have any issues with her. I liked the other lady better, the nurse practitioner. But yeah, so goodness. So I had that appointment, and then I had a couple like phone appointments with genetics, just getting like my information for the genetics department, because we did do the genetic testing, and I don't think anything came back. I think I would have heard that if I was a carrier for something or anything like that. The only thing that I have to worry about is a heart condition, because I've had one doctor tell me that I have a heart murmur, but every other doctor that I've ever gone to in my entire life has never ever said that. And then now that I know that was like a couple years ago that she told me that, and then ever since then, like the doctors now have tried hearing it and they're like, yeah, I don't hear anything, but I don't know, maybe she did, I don't know. So I don't think it's anything bad, but because of that, they're more cautious because my brother has a pretty serious, I guess, heart condition that he's had since he was born. Something that like he would have to have surgery to get fixed. So because of the fact that he's like my blood relative, my brother, and then they thought that I had the murmur, and so they were kind of like cautious with that because I've never had any sort of surgery or anything that like puts or any sort of trauma on my body, and so they were just like, they want to be cautious if I do have a murmur, to make sure to kind of watch me during delivery and labor and all that, because they don't know how my body could eventually like respond, I guess. So yeah, that was all. And then I just had a recent appointment the day after Christmas. We went and we did, I thought it was like the anatomy scan, but I realized that it wasn't. It's just this, they do an ultrasound. I had to go to a different doctor's office that's further away because they have like a better ultrasound machine or something, a more fancy one, and it gets a lot clearer of a picture, and they measure the neck to see if the measurement is correct, to see if you have like the baby's gonna have Downs, or there's a possibility that the baby could have Downs, or like spinal issues or something like that, and our measurement came back fine. So but we got to get like a really good picture. I actually can show you guys. We got to get a really good picture of her. All right, the mailman came to the door to drop off some Amazon packages. So anyway, we got this one done, and you can like see her legs like moving up, and she's like sucking her thumb or something. It's such a cute picture. I think it's adorable. She looks like she's just lounging in there. So I just think that's so cute. So yeah, we got that done the day after Christmas, and that was exciting. That was like the first time it like really felt real, which sounds like maybe kind of bad, but even when we had gone to that 8-week appointment and they heard the heartbeat and stuff, like it still didn't feel real. I don't know, like, because I guess like maybe because it didn't look like a baby and it was just like a little blob like on the screen that had like a little flicker, and they said that was a heartbeat. But it wasn't until that appointment that Scott and I were both like, whoa, like there's actually like a baby in there. She had been completely upside down, and the technician was trying to get her the measurement on the spine or on the neck, whatever. And so she was able to get it, and then she was like, oh, and so she kind of tapped my stomach a little bit to get her to wake up, and then she woke up, and that's when she was like stretching her legs, and she was like, oh, there she is, and you could like see her moving, and that's what was like, whoa, it was so surreal. It was just a very weird moment, and that was like when it finally felt real. Like I was like, wow, there's a baby in my stomach. So the last couple things that I was going to talk about, a lot of people talk about being extremely tired and exhausted during their first trimester, and I was, but I wasn't. I was more just feeling lazy. I just like, I feel like when I get home from work, I'm normally just exhausted, and so maybe that's like the difference, is like I feel like I'm always exhausted. As a teacher, like I'm just busy all day long. So I feel like I'm always just kind of exhausted, and so I was just feeling a lot more lazy. Like I could tell on the weekends, I wasn't wanting to do as much around the house. Like I was letting things go around the house, like cleaning wise and stuff like that, that I would normally be kind of staying up on. And so I don't know, I just felt like a lot more lazy more than anything else. Like I wasn't taking like extra naps or anything like that. Like I took one extra nap one time. I'm normally not a nap person. I'm normally like, I'm a go-getter. Like I'm constantly on the go, which is probably another reason I'm always exhausted. But yeah, I'm not one to like lounge really. And I did find myself like lounging a little bit more, and going to bed a little bit earlier. But I wouldn't say like I was so tired, like some people talk about. I just didn't really have that feeling as much, but yeah. So the last thing was, I was just going to talk about, how much I've eaten out. So kind of going back to the food aversions and everything in my kitchen just making me grossed out, and cooking grossing me out because of smells. I've ended up eating out a lot. So, and it's pretty bad, but at the same time, like if I'm eating, then it's kind of whatever. I just like, I don't know, everything just sounds really gross, and I'll think of like one thing that finally sounds good and I'll get that. But it ends up being eaten out a lot. But now that I'm feeling a little bit better, I think I'll be able to cook a little bit more. When I was able to cook, it was just like very basic things that didn't require a lot of actual cooking on my part. Like I would make a lot of like frozen things that you just kind of pop in the oven, because it didn't require a lot of like extra smells and stuff from me. Or I would do like the orange chicken that you just throw in the oven, and then I would do like rice in the Instant Pot, stuff like that. And yeah, breakfast wise, I always eat something at home. Lately I've been liking pancakes, just like plain pancakes, because it's easy on my stomach in the morning. And but I have to eat something like pretty much the second I wake up. Not as much now, but like when I was first pregnant, the second I would wake up, I'd have to eat something, and then I would eat like my breakfast after I got ready. But I would eat like snack on something while I was getting ready, and that would help a lot with the nauseousness. And yeah, so I've been eating out a lot. However, I did continue to go to the gym like my entire first trimester. I didn't go like crazy. I would go 3, maybe 4 times a week. But 3 was kind of always my goal. And I just go after work, and I just walk on the treadmill at an incline. I'll walk like 2 miles, and then I'll do the stair climber at like a really low speed. We have like one of the stair climbers at our gym, that like the kind that actually like the steps like move, not like the one where you just go like this. So I would do that at like a low speed, like I said. So just kind of like more just like stepping and not like going super quick like I would normally when I'm not pregnant. And or the elliptical is always a good one. I definitely could have continued to jog. I don't run, I jog. But I just didn't feel like it. But I'm pretty sure it would have been fine. I wouldn't have like hurt the baby or anything. I did talk to my doctor about working out, and she basically said anything that you did before getting pregnant is perfectly fine. She's like, honestly, you'll hurt yourself probably more than you hurt the baby by like pulling a muscle or something, if or like while you're pregnant. She's like, you don't really need to stress too much. So I've started slowly introducing like weights back into my routine, and little things like that. I did lower the weight, even though I know she said I could do the same. I don't know, I just feel weird like pushing my body like that. So I keep the weight at like a weight that I can, you know, continuously do for like 10 reps, and I don't have like a problem doing that. So I'll do like arms and legs, and I don't do anything that's like core, obviously. And then lately I've been starting to do like prenatal yoga. I'll just find a video on YouTube, and I'll just do it like on the TV at night, like in the evening time before bed or so. It just kind of like helps to get my body like loosened up, because I can definitely feel now that I'm getting like further along that my body is like aching a lot more. Like my hips hurt really bad, And when I like stretch it out, oh my gosh, it just feels so good. So that's something I probably should have started a lot earlier, but I didn't even think about it. And I was just busy with like right before the school year, or right before winter break, like things are just crazy at school. So it just wasn't on my mind. So yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. I know that there's gonna be things that I forgot, but I'm just gonna have to like let it go because this video is probably already really long. How long is that? I can't even see that. But yeah, so if you are interested in kind of pregnancy related videos, make sure you subscribe to my channel because I am going to I'm going to throw in a lot more pregnancy related stuff and then baby related stuff once we have the baby. So my channel is going to be not a lot less teaching, but kind of a good balance between the two. So if you're new here, make sure you subscribe and join the fam, and follow me over on Instagram if you want a little bit of teaching stuff as well. I don't post like a ton of like super teachery stuff, but I like to post outfits over there. And now that I'm pregnant and now that I'm feeling better, I actually like want to start dressing cute again and like dress up the bump a little bit, which I think is super cute. So yeah, so anyway, now that Axel's gonna start barking, I will catch you guys in my next video, and farewell.